Do you remember when fixed cameras made every hallway in video games feel deadly? Today we are diving back into that vibe with 18 upcoming classic survival horror games. Think tank controls, pre-rendered backgrounds and that PS1, PS2 visual style. And on top of this, 2 video games you can play right now for absolutely free. Prepare your ink ribbons and limited inventory, and let's dive in. This one came out in July, but I still want to highlight it. You play as Sam, grieving her grandfather and following clues from a creepy online forum to a haunted mountain house, hoping for a way to reach the other side. Combat is limited on purpose, your weapon is a camera basically. Most of the game is exploration and classic puzzles with tension from a mix of fixed cameras and over-the-shoulder aiming. Controls are modern with optional tank controls for the late 90s feel. It is a tight 4 to 6 hour run with multiple endings plus pre-rendered and in-engine cutscenes. If you like early 3D visuals, there are retro pixelation options and also haunting original soundtrack. The tone is more psychological than action, very much a love letter to Silent Hill, Fatal Frame and classic Resident Evil. If you enjoy careful player movement, limited options and thick atmosphere, put this one on your list right now. Fragile Reflection drops you into the late 90s Japan as Karyo Ito returns to her hometown, a rural mining village that feels wrong the moment you arrive. The place is being swallowed by the Reflection, a parallel realm holding echoes of the past. Inspired by classic survival horror, the story gives you a supernatural power to move between the real world and the Reflection. You explore both worlds, shifting between them to open paths, solve puzzles and figure out what just really happened. It is a retro-styled third-person survival horror with modern controls, chunky visuals and moody lighting. Expect resource management. Watch your ammunition, check every corner and use the environment to your advantage. Combat is tense, not really flashy, with grotesque enemies linked to the village's history and symbols. You move through hospitals, backstreets and shrines as Karyo follows a worrying call and digs into family secrets. The vibe aims squarely at PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 era horror with a soundtrack that nods to Akira Yamaoka. If you like dimension hopping puzzles, folklore-inspired monsters and careful resource play, this one should be on your radar. Flashmade Fear goes full-on classic survival horror with tank controls, fixed camera angles and slow, deliberate pacing. The game mixes creepy labs with dark ritual settings, so every new room feels like stepping somewhere you really shouldn't be. It keeps the core of classic survival horror while adding its own twists instead of turning into an action game. The main highlight is the mix of twisted experiments and occult imagery, 2 kinds of nightmares feeding off each other. This one is made by Tainted Pack Games, the team behind Massacre at Mirage, Suffer the Night and Terror at Oakheart. This game looks perfect if you've been missing fixed camera angles and tank controls with a fresh chilling twist. Deep Space Distress Call, Underground Base, something that twists mind and matter. You are Major Axel Vex, a veteran of a special team sent to Sangona Base, a huge facility buried on a distant exoplanet. You are taking on a seemingly routine mission which turns fast into a fight for survival. It's all about pressure and smart choices. Explore 26 sectors, each with its own dangers and secrets. Resources are tight, so pick your fights and make every shot count. You learn what happened from logs, security footage and what's left of the crew. Puzzles are environmental and stealth matters because some creatures track light and movement. The game also gives Doom 3 vibes mixed with survival horror elements. You can also add the retro filter to the game if you want that extra old school look. Echoes of the Living is classic fixed camera survival horror with modern fully 3D environments. Think of more like Resident Evil 1 remake vibe. It's all about slow, deliberate pacing, framed shots and thick atmosphere, old school tension with fresh visuals. The setup is the following. It's 1996 in a quiet European town. A strange fog rolls in at night. By morning people are sick, panic spreads, and the dead walk the streets. All what's left are the echoes of those who live there, and you are trying to survive long enough to learn the truth. Expect a exploration first play. Carefully traversing through the streets and interiors, very Resident Evil 3 in feel, managing limited supplies and using fixed perspective to spot danger early. The key is the visual approach, reimagining that era's look while keeping the core design intact. If you want late 90s survival horror, tight framing, creeping dread, a town with secrets, this is a strong recommendation for you. This one mixes classic survival horror with the romantic drama of a visual novel. You are dropped into the town that time forgot, a snowy place full of secrets, where relationships matter as much as ammunition. It is a retro game at heart. Dynamic fixed camera angles, classic or modern controls, inventory management, and classic door transitions, all wrapped in a low-poly look and covered by a moody soundtrack. The horror is personal here. You meet residents with baggage and side quests, make dialogue choices that shape bonds between characters, and even chase romance while juggling scarce resources and high-stakes combat against varied, grotesque enemies. Exploration is the backbone of the game. Snowy forests, a veterinary clinic, an abandoned missile silo, liminal labyrinths, an old bakery, and a clown carnival. Expect classic puzzle box design. Keys, environment interactions, breakables, documents, and collectibles that build the lore. Weapons start small with melee and basic firearms, and they can grow into optional legendary gear if you dare to dig deeper. With multiple endings and that mix of mystery, romance, and survival, this is a true throwback with a sharp new hook. This is a survival horror roguelike that actually teaches you Morse code. You play as Clara Redmond, granddaughter of the man who ordered the planet Euro to be destroyed. She comes back for answers and finds the labs being still active and changing every time you enter. Even the cause of the disaster changes between runs, so you piece together the clues and try to solve who or what did it. Morse code is the core loop of the game. You tap code to open doors and use systems, and you listen and decipher signals to unlock chests with vital supplies. Difficulty level scales from newcomer to veteran so you can learn at your own pace. Moment to moment, it is a tense exploration across carefully generated zones with scarce resources and inventory management. Many threats in this game don't go down easy, so you have to decide when to fight or slip past. On your journey, you will find gadgets that change how you move and survive. Loadouts are randomized during each run with upgrade paths for new combos and routes. If you are looking for a classic survival horror with a very unique game mechanic, well, this is it. Derelikt is a narrative retro first-person shooter with PlayStation 1 vibes and a streak of cosmic horror. You explore the fun Newman Outpost, a research station bolted to a derelict asteroid in Saturn's orbit. Think Alien Resurrection mood, a bit of Doom 3 claustrophobia, and a System Shock 2 style system, and of course unease. The game has dark corridors, inventory management, and old-school puzzles that feel closer to survival horror than just simple run and gun. You get classic and also oddball weapons, 12 interconnected levels with light Metroidvania gating, over a dozen NPCs with a proper dialogue system, and also an upgrade path. The look is pure late 90s, texture warping, dynamic subdivision, hand-painted vertex colors, and full-motion CGI cutscenes. The game is about let's play like it's 1999, but with enough modern structure to keep it engaging. If you want a PlayStation 1 era atmosphere with talky bits, puzzles, and creeping dread, Derelikt might be a solid time capsule. It is 1994 in Flint Peak, a post-industrial harbor town where a strange illness is twisting people into something else. A blizzard is also coming. The streets are empty, except for what is wearing the skins of what is left of the locals. Phase Zero leans hard into golden era survival horror. Re-rendered backgrounds, fixed camera angles, and carefully framed shots that make every corner tense. The story plays out in chapters that swap between two survivors. Mary, a reporter new to the town, and Guy, a local engineer. You scavenge, choose when to fight or flee, and work through old-school puzzles. The vibe is body horror. Tissue over brick, meat bursting from pipes, empty skins in the snow. It's a modern reimagining of the 90s design. If fixed camera angles, scarce resources, and they make it until dawn setting are your thing, Flint Peak looks like a chilling place to spend a few hours. This is a straight-up classic survival horror loop. Tight corridors, uneasy city streets, and a mystery behind a full outbreak. Zombies are the main threat, and everything revolves around smart scavenging. Collect resources, manage a limited inventory, and push through light puzzles while you decide which rooms are worth the risk exploring. Combat isn't about mindless shooting either. You have melee and ranged options, but the gunplay has a bite. A well-timed shot can stagger a target, giving you a short window to exploit weaknesses and end the fight on your terms, which could be a precise kick to the head, aka Resident Evil 4 style. If you want tight spaces, tough calls and methodical combat, Pulsebreaker just hits the sweet spot. Ground Zero is a retro survival horror set in post-apocalyptic South Korea. 2 months after a meteor strike, the dust settles and the air is finally breathable. Seo Yoon, an elite Korean operative, and her Canadian partner head into the fog-clouded ruins to learn what really hit Busan and why everything living is mutating. Strange growths spiral out from the impact site, and it only gets worse the closer you get. This is classic survival horror. Fixed cameras, pre-rendered backgrounds, puzzle rooms, optional tank controls, and custom difficulty. You'll pick your way through a broken but beautiful city, shoreline towns, temples, and the urban core, scavenging supplies and deciding when to push or pull back. Combat is tactical. As a trained soldier, you can shoot, stab, kick, and counter, but ammo is scarce. Every single ammunition counts. Clean play earns genome points you can trade for gear upgrades. Expect huge boss fights as the mutations peak in the city's heart. For replay value, there are unlockables, alternate outfits, extra modes, and also secret endings. If you want fixed camera angle tension with a modern upgrade hook, Ground Zero is a strong pick. This is a classic fixed camera horror puzzle game set in a moonlit mansion where time is always slipping away. You wake up in a strange estate, search for clues, and try to learn what happened to the people who lived here before the house and whatever is watching you closes in. The vibe is psychological, with clear nods to Resident Evil and Silent Hill in its look and pacing. Every scrap matters, notes, objects, and symbols that only click after a second look. Exploration is methodical, open drawers, trace patterns, test locks, while the clock keeps the pressure on. Puzzles drive the game, and they are not just about let's find a key. Expect lateral thinking, layered riddles, and a few that make you think beyond the obvious. If slow burn dread, clever puzzle chains, and classic staging are your thing, the Lunar Effect is a tight, time-pressed mystery worth diving into. Alisa: The Parting is a spin-off of the 2021 cult hit Alisa, built to look and play like a late 90s, early 2000s 32-bit game. Crunchy polygons, pre-rendered backgrounds, and low-resolution cutscenes. You chase a thief who stole mysterious blueprints when things go sideways. Alisa is pulled back into the dollhouse, while her partner Jean-Francois follows his own trail. It is more than a straight survival horror gameplay. There's a central hub linking missions, lots of exploration, and a break area with minigames and small side quests between stories. Play solo with a CPU partner or couch co-op with a friend. Rare for this style and perfect for that late 90s on-couch co-op gameplay vibe. Expect high default difficulty, wide enemy variety, puzzle beats, and those classic door transitions. Progression sticks, tons of unlockables, and not just weapons and outfits, and also real replayability. The tone swings between creepy dollhouse menace and silly humor backed by 90s style voice acting. If you want a throwback that also lets you team up, The Parting looks like a blast. Picture a survival horror where sins and fears become real. The world is ruined kingdom turned prison. Sinners, heretics, even gods are trapped here, and the place loves to make nightmares real. You explore broken halls and empty streets, solve puzzles, manage your resources, and pick your battles. You play as Richard Torrance, strong-willed, cold-blooded, set on shaping the world, but never truly happy. Whatever brought him here, this realm plans to test him. The gameplay loop is exploration first. A vast castle and surroundings, hidden passages, optional puzzles, and enemies that require different tactics. Choices also matter. Do you spare a remorseful killer or save ammo? Do you risk healing items to help a stranger? Your calls change other lives and lead to multiple endings, from a fragile happy outcome to a full nightmare. The look blends modern tech with a retro style. A sharp, moody mix that says both beauty and cruelty. If you like exploration-heavy, consequence-driven survival horror, Becrowned might be just your thing. Fixed cameras, pre-rendered backgrounds, tank controls, 1999 energy, but set in a place survival horror rarely goes. The Vietnam jungle. A week after Reaper, a US Black Ops unit crashes with a mutagenic toxin on board, Sergeant John Crackhorn is sent to find survivors. His chopper goes down too, and now it's you versus zombies and biological nightmares in an enemy territory. It is classic survival horror, limited inventory, careful scavenging, manual saves in safe rooms, and puzzles that gate camps, crash sites, and overgrown facilities. Spies and clues point to a conspiracy rotten to the core, and boss fights make every shell and healing item count. There is an impactful gore system, decapitations, limb removals, live action cutscenes, and multiple endings with a rating. Expect unlockables, costumes and weapons, and full controller support with modern analog and also tank control options. If you want late 90s zombie feel with a wartime twist, Jungle Rot delivers just exactly that. Echograph is an isometric survival horror where your camera is your lifeline and sometimes your weapon. It frames the world from above, then snaps to first-person view at key moments so you can line up a shot, capture ghosts, and push the story forward. Combat leans towards Fatal Frame and Project Zero. It's about timing, nerve, and taking the picture instead of spraying ammo. Under the hood, it is Resident Evil style resource management. Tight inventory, limited consumables, and always asking the question if a room is worth exploring. The flow notes to Crow Country and late 90s design with hub areas that let you breathe, where you're able to regroup, sort out your inventory, and plan your next areas to explore. The story digs into a family tragedy, secrets, rituals, and the sense the house knows you better than you know yourself. If you want ghost photography, inventory pressure, and smart hub-driven pacing, Echograph has the pieces for you. This one mirrors late 90s survival horror and is set in a parasite-infested airport around 2005. You are Emma Reed, arriving to pick up your brother Jake, and you are just about to walk into a lockdown. With no help coming, you work through terminals and service corridors to find Jake and lead a growing group of survivors to safety. The hook of the game is basically sound. Enemies react to noise, so every footstep, door click, or gunshot matters. They are always listening. The game leans stealth first, crouch, wait, make distractions, or hold your breath and slip past the enemies. Structurally, it's a clean throwback. Fixed cameras, late 90s, early 2000s visuals, and exploration across many airport locations. Progress isn't one-dimensional either. There is branching puzzle solving so you can approach problems different ways, and also choices about when and who to lead to safety. If you miss that classic feel with a unique hook, Departure of Darkness is a neat hit of airport panic nostalgia with a nasty parasite twist. Descendant is a love letter to the 2000s survival horror genre. You play Blake Cage, a sharp-tongued operative for Vector 6, humanity's last line against the dark. The mystery goes big: ancient immortals, bloodthirsty vampires, and the fight for mankind, all wrapped in a tense PS2 GameCube-style atmosphere. Tone matters here as well: tight dread, solid story beats, and a world full of lore to uncover. You are not alone as well. Jade Silva, Blake's fast-talking, sharp-witted Brazilian partner, appears as an unlockable solo playable character. A post-release update plans to add local co-op game mode too, letting a friend play as Jade, matching up with Blake against the undead. If your sweet spot is early 2000s survival horror, moody, confident, a little theatrical, Descendant is dialed in for you. You still with me? Good. On to the bonus feature with 2 additional playable free games on PC. This one is a classic survival horror in an underwater lab. It is quiet, cold, and just wrong. You move through dark holes, grab what you can, and solve small puzzles to keep going. It's built to feel like a 90s sci-fi horror game on purpose. It started as a short demo for the haunted PS1 Summer of Shivers game jam. The latest build adds new levels, enemies, puzzles, cutscenes, and a cleaner inventory, plus lots of small fixes. The current demo is about 45 minutes and is available on itch.io. This one goes full old school. Fixed cameras, tank controls and the PS1 era look. If you miss 1996, this tries to put you back there. You arrive in Normoth, a quiet town with something wrong underneath. The job is simple on paper: search for clues, grab what you can, and stay alive. Ammo and items are very limited, so pick your shots and plan your path very carefully. Bit by bit you learn what happened here. The game was built in 30 days for the haunted PS1 Summer of Shivers 2021 Game Jam, so it is tight and focused with a few rough edges. But that's also part of the charm. If you want classic Resident Evil or Silent Hill vibes, fixed angles, slow burn tension, and that specific every door could be trouble feeling, Shadow over Normoth is exactly that. So that is the lineup. 18 new classics on the way, plus 2 picks you can already play today for free. If you mix fixed cameras and tank controls, hit like and subscribe. Also tell me which games were your favorite in the comments and make sure to wishlist them on Steam. I was Gabe and I catch you in the next one. Until then, keep gaming.